You are now tuned to BS3 Network.
Bring back that beat, DJ.
So before we go any further, welcome back to the one and only. He just moved himself to the bottoms.
That's right.
King Dawk is back in the building. I know we're working on that contract negotiations. Hopefully, we came to an agreement.
Well, we BS3 Network and I have worked it out to where I can at least do a couple of shows until we finish hammering out some of the details. Yeah. I'm doing this for HRap to help with his contract. See, that's how the unions do it. They like the players union gonna make sure no, you can't take less money because it's gonna hurt everybody else. So I would do it for free. HRap would. So I'm working on his contract.
You strip us the cost.
I wouldn't know, sir. I've retired from the strip.
Yeah.
Retired.
Yeah, out of the game.
Got that Harden jersey out of Houston.
You got that what?
I got that James Harden jersey out of the Raptors in Houston.
Oh,
they literally retired his jersey in the strip clubs of Houston.
Really?
Yeah, hey, James Harden was at every strip club. That's why he didn't come to there was one city he didn't want to go to because they ain't having a strip club.
I ain't no naked women. I ain't coming.
He would have been no good in Atlanta. He would have never played. He would have been.
I am proud to say that something better came along. Oh,
there you go. There you go.
Diamond. See, I worry about the king of diamonds. I worry about the queen of diamonds.
You're supposed to be sitting across from you.
Nah, I'm in the studio alone. But
all right, man. Welcome.
No, ain't locked. She can get in there if she want to.
Thank you, Alfre.
Choke a nigga eyes.
But welcome back to the forecast. It's the 3cast right now. Wilks should be coming back here in just a minute. But it's been a little while, man. We had Stars playoffs was going on. We had weather.
I have to change my shirt.
It's good. I'm wearing a Maverick shirt tonight. Just hopefully. Ain't looking good.
It's fitting that tonight we back as the Maverick season comes to an end.
Yeah, besides the miraculous comeback, it's 54, 42 right now. But glad to see you, glad to be back. And tonight, man, we got a good one for you. The Book of Clarence, which is available on Netflix, starring LaKeith Stanfield and a variety of different actors. Obviously, LaKeith Stanfield is the star. But before we go any further, if you want to get into the plot and summary of the movie.
No, I really don't, because I'm out of practice. So
I got you. Right here. I got you.
No, by all means, let me do what I do. So again, the Book of Clarence, you can catch it on Netflix. Let's see. A down on his luck man. If folks calling me. So a down on his luck man struggles to find a better life for the family while fighting to free himself of debt. Captivated by the power and glory of the rising Messiah, he risked everything to carve his own path to divine life, ultimately discovering that the redemptive power of belief may be his only way out.
There we go.
Directed by the Bullets. Box office 6.2 million. Don't know what the budget was. Again, it was produced also by the Bullets. Jeymes Jeymes, Lassiter, and Tendo Nagenda. Released January 12th of 2024.
Yeah.
Star
What's up,
studded.
Wilks?
I'm back.
All right.
What's going on?
All right. So this one came out like Dawk just said, and this is very similar to as we kind of get into some initial thoughts. This is very similar to The Harder They Fall, obviously directed by the same guy or the same group. And let me get to the chat before I go any further, though. Cindy, thank you for tuning in. She said, hey. Theodora Blue Streak, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Letitia Porter with that Death Row Abby photo. Death Row, the label. Okay, before y'all don't come for me. And then D Great in the building. Thank you for tuning in as well. Hopefully everybody's doing well. Mavericks down 60-44. We'll keep you updated on the score. It's probably gonna be the Celtics winning, but I wore the Mav shirt tonight anyway. So initial thoughts. We're gonna go to HRap first. The Book of Clarence.
This is the greatest movie about. This is the greatest example of testimony I've ever seen in film. It shows, that no matter how you walk, no matter how hard you walk away from God, you will walk right into Him. So it was a wonderful situation. Great story. Great ending. Great everything about this movie. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Wilks, which this man, you had me on this probably a couple of weeks ago. It was like, man, you got to watch the Book of Clarence. And so give me your initial thoughts.
Yeah, a lot of moments in this movie spoke out, just about, whether it's directed like The Harder They Fall and just remember, but also too, just, no matter how far you think you are removed from the hand of God or from His kingdom, he's there waiting for you, just, in every aspect, and including Him in all things that you do. So, I mean, it had reference to social injustice. It had references to just Black people just trying to, I guess, make their way through this life and making their way through this life. A lot of reference to things from the news headlines. I mean, just a lot of different parallels there. So it had a lot of today's society kind of reflections, and also spiritual walks, and kind of looking within yourself. So I enjoyed it. That was good.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah, I thought this movie was about Clarence from Roy City, Texas. He used to drink wine, some PJ Swan.
Close.
I didn't know. That's the only Clarence I know.
Clarence
Class Carter.
Interesting concept. Let's just say that. It's difficult to give my initial thoughts without giving my thoughts on the movie too in depth. Let's just say that. But just interesting concept. One of the concepts that was in it was the power of our race, our community, our people, and why one of the most profound moments in it was like when the guy was talking to the gentleman you see pictured there on our screen in the background that played I can't remember his title, of the head of the Roman Empire, basically, where they were like, no, you're scared of us. Yeah, you're scared of us. Yeah. You fear us, basically is why you're reacting and doing what you're doing. So but yeah, interesting concept, let's just say, but so I'm anxious to get into how this thing got up to speed, let's just say.
And yeah, for me, I'll just say I didn't want to watch it at all because I thought it was like one of these making fun of Jesus
booty tang.
I didn't think it was gonna be that bad.
Sacrilegious.
But yeah, sacrilegious. I thought it was really gonna be like a let's make fun of the Bible and Jesus, but I had to watch it for myself, and it wasn't that. It did have some satire and some funny parts to it, And for people that want to watch this or have already watched this, no, it is not true to the Bible. And I think that's the point. It's not being true to the Bible, but it's being more of a from the outside looking in with someone that wasn't necessarily in the Bible, but just a regular person that was walking around seeing what was going on.
So
that's kind of the sense that
let's just say this. You said something key. I didn't want to watch it because I thought maybe it was making fun of the Bible. And somebody, I think Wilks said sacrilegious. Is that a problem? Making fun of the Bible? Telling a joke about Jesus? Is that a problem?
Yeah, it depends on what you're doing about it.
Huh?
I said, depending on how you go about it, yeah, it's a problem.
But think about it this way, and that's why the word says, study to show thyself approved. And it is about, that's why on Queen 3 and King, we've done a few shows on religion versus spirituality. And let me ask you this. So a relationship with Jesus himself, do you think Jesus would be offended if you told a joke about him?
Of course not. It was all in the Bible.
So why is we, and I said it wrong in purpose, so why is we offended if somebody tell a joke about Jesus? He wouldn't be offended himself.
Because society has created that.
Yeah, we can't answer that question though. Yeah. We don't know what Jesus.
I mean, if I was to say, do you think I'm gonna cost myself a trip to heaven if I say, man, it looked like his sound stank?
Yeah.
It look like this what stank?
His sound stank.
Sound stank.
Do you think all of a sudden when I get there and I'm at the pearly gates, you say, hey son, you did good. You was the most giving and forgiving, non-judgmental dude I knew, but you said something about my sandals, boy.
Nah, that I agree. I agree with you on that. Yeah, that's more of now. If it's like Jesus on the cross and you cussing him out or something like that, then
yeah, that's
what I thought it was gonna be. I was like, yeah, I ain't watching that.
Joke.
Yeah, but they joke with each other. Him and the disciples, they had a relationship with each other. It wasn't like they were.
CJ, I told you didn't listen.
What I would say to that is this: it's a way to joke with someone. It's a way to joke about someone. There's two different intents. If I'm clowning you, it's disrespectful and it's sacrilege. And if I'm joking with you, we all will laugh. Right. If your intent is to harm, then it's a problem. If your intent is to uplift spirit, then it's not a problem.
Yeah, because I'm telling you right now, everything about me he created. Period. And there's a couple of times where I've said, okay, I'm gonna chill out a little bit, and some of the dopest pastors, and some of the undoped pastors,
we gotta get there too.
Yeah.
They done said, don't you dare change who you are for this Christianity thing. Yeah. It is because of who you are where you can be effective. So I'm careful, again, HRap from day one. In fact, even before day one on his show, before there was a forecast, he'll tell you how many times I've said this. One of the things that he's always talked about is disagreement. Discourse is not a bad thing. Seeing things differently is not a bad thing. That has helped in my personal development, right? So, but I just want to be careful out there that folks don't think, that you follow what I'm saying? It's like, for instance, if that is not made clear, if folks are not comfortable in that, you could actually do more harm to Christianity than you can good. If you get this hard, rigid, you can't, hell, if you ain't never laughed at a funeral, you know what I'm saying, in church, in the choir, you saw how I got in the choir stand.
Yeah.
How many folks in that choir stand? I mean, you're talking about somebody who have twerked in the choir stand on a Sunday during service. But how many of those people that we served with do you think it gave them comfortability to be able to come to me and say, brother, can I talk to you about something? I need help. I'm struggling in this area or that area, because they knew, okay, that dude operates with balance. I see how he serves. I see his dedication. But you follow what I'm saying? So I don't want people to think, I don't want this one guy out there who's naturally a clown to think, you know, I got to be restricted with regard to how I kind of get down, so it's not frowned upon by Christians. And if you can't say, that's one of the reasons why this movie is what is as lovely as I think it is a reimagining of the stories that have been told by other folks anyway.
Yeah.
So I want folks to put their own spin on it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that spin ain't straight, it's crooked.
Yeah, and I think this is one of these films where you have to watch it. Don't go based off of what we say. You know, don't go based off of what you read. Just go ahead and watch it. Let me get to CJ's comments. He said we getting cooked.
Man, I told you.
Jesus might pass out the new flavor of wine. Drink up, fool.
Yeah, right.
You got the government. Anthony Lansdowne, big Illinois in here.
He off them papers all the way now. I guess he can put his government out there.
He said we getting torch flambe.
He done got the ankle monitor off, and he done paid his last $50 to the probation to parole officer. He good, man.
He said, "Go ahead and take that shirt off." Hey, man, if I do, it's not gonna be what people want to see. So I might have to leave it on. And Cole Johnson, the morning shift with Cole Johnson.
Man, Mavs 7.
He said Mavs 7. That's a dig at CJ. CJ been. He was saying, "I meant to say Mavs in 5. I meant to say Mavs in 6. I meant to say Mavs in 7."
Yeah.
Pastor Dodd in the building, man. We haven't seen you in a little while.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, Pastor Dodd. If you are not watching the morning shift with the BS3, the morning shift with Cole Johnson in the morning time on BS3 Network, you are doing it incorrectly.
Yeah. Great show.
Speaking of reimagining, you're doing it incorrectly.
Yeah.
I can't because he thinks I'm moonlighting at some fancy restaurant. So unfortunately,
well, if he'd have tasted this chocolate cake you blessed a brother with for Father's Day, he would be his assumptions and his speculations would be warranted.
Yeah. Hey, I should have uploaded the photos in here that you had. You had some the chocolate cake, and you had something else that you made too. Yeah,
it was
we got to start that. We got to start that weekly.
Yeah. I can do that.
He said, and yes, you are moonlighting. Hey, the pleasure is ours, Cole. I mean, you do an amazing job. Of all the, if
Top
we
notch.
told you all of the
Top notch.
intros, outros, promos that he's made, we'd be here all night. So we salute you as well.
Yeah, he the Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. BS3, ain't it?
Both in one, yeah. All right. So LaKeith Stanfield, which is collectively, I can say for all of us, one of our favorite actors on the forecast.
Yes, sir.
He plays dual roles. He plays Clarence
and Thomas.
And then he also plays Thomas. So shout out to him playing 2 roles. And I mean, I feel like he did a great job. And everything we've seen him in, he has done a solid job.
If you wouldn't have reminded me of that, I probably would have went this entire review without stating that he played 2 roles, because those characters were so different characters. They were such different characters, and he pulled it out.
Yeah,
their mentalities, their mannerisms, I wouldn't have mentioned it if you wouldn't have mentioned it.
Yeah, and I would say this is a 2-part deal here. You have to watch The Harder They Fall. I believe it's still on Netflix, but some of the similar characters. But I think you to get a full sense of this director, I think you definitely got to watch that. And you also got R.J. Cyler, who played Elijah, Clarence's best friend. I got it.
Oh, man.
I've been practicing that one today. We're practicing that one. So kind of the opening of the movie is Elijah and Clarence are racing Mary Magdalene, which again it's giving a different spin, but it is getting to somewhat of the same conclusion. But talk about the opening of the movie with the music. I'm gonna go to HRap first.
Well, real quick, let's just talk. You talked about who was racing. So Elijah is R.J. Cyler, and Mary Magdalene is Teyana Taylor.
Yeah.
Okay. Just that piece of casting alone should garner an entire book of different folks to want to watch the film for that alone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But go ahead, HRap.
No, it was a very interesting choice of music, all the way from like Buju Banton Shabba Ranks, Jay-Z,
Shabba.
whack ass Kid Cudi.
Shabba.
So and what was good about it?
Shots fired at
is
Kid.
They incorporated and inculcated it into the story. Everything that they played was a part of the story. It was just music. Because sometimes you just play dope music, which makes me tune the music out. But this was a part of the scenic portion of the movie. So great, excellent choices, great music, and of course it's gonna have good music. Jay-Z running it, so that's an easy thing. Right.
Yeah.
But the music was so different. It was not cookie cutter standard. I mean, this borderline on compositions, and I'm talking about funk compositions, almost as if Earth, Wind and Fire and Frankie Beverly and Mays and Barry White got together with the ELO to put it together. You know what I'm saying? To put it together.
Yeah.
Very different, man.
Yeah. Wilks. Get your thoughts on the music.
Yeah, that intro, which it's funny because when I was watching, I was like, man, this is pretty intense for an opening scene. Like what racing through racing through the city already. But and the music I thought went very well throughout the entire movie, especially the one scene where they were playing the Jones Girls. I think Nights Over Egypt or something like that. That's like, man, that's like they went into the crate for that one.
Loved it.
Yeah, so I thought it was done well. It's almost like, I don't know. I have to go back to his other movie because I think somebody well known was in his first movie in 2001. So I'm wondering how that one was directed and how he may have grown through the years. Because Harder They Fall was excellent. I mean, I enjoyed that. And then watching this, I just felt like I was watching Harder They Fall again, but in a different setting, kind of, Exactly. But, I enjoyed the directing and the music.
But you can tell he is operating in the fullness of who he is, which is the point I was trying to make early. Operate in the fullness of who you are, regardless of what that is. If that's comedy, let that be comedy.
Yeah.
And I like the touch. Peace be unto you. I mean, that was what they said to each other. I felt like that was a chef's kiss right there, and I felt like that put a spin on the movie to where it wasn't completely comedy and it wasn't completely drama. It was kind of a unique. I mean, I don't think I've seen anything like that.
Since you went there, let me just, because that was the problem. That is the reason. Let me just go ahead and take the gloves off for a moment. That is the reason why the first 20 to 30 minutes of the movie, I was about to get a some bitch a one. Seriously, me and wifey sitting there, we watching it, and I'm doing that to help stabilize me through some of these films so I don't go off the rails like we can do from time to time. Wilks, you can testify to, right? Like, am I seeing this correctly? We looking at each other like, what the hell is this? A comedy? Is it ain't? Because one moment you tell a joke and the next moment you're saying something serious, or you're setting up a drama, and then it made me write this note. Basically, was is it a comedy because Hollywood categorized? Is it really a comedy or a drama? Is this the way Hollywood categorizes movies? Because I've heard some other radio shows talk about that to say, well, it had to be listed in the comedy. I think it was during like the Oscars or something like that. And they're like, well, why is that movie in the Oscar category? Well, the comedy category. Well, it had to be because of XYZ. I don't know if it's because of the ratings. I don't know what the situation was, but it had some funny parts. Can't you have a drama, but just have some comedy in it and then not need to be considered a comedy? Because what I wanted, I think that maybe because it is listed as a comedy may turn some people off to even checking it out in the first place, right? It may be in the same category that you were in and say, I don't want to watch that. It looks like cornball. It came off very corny in the first 30 minutes or so. Until they settled into where they were going, and then it's like, oh wow, they own something, know.
And I agree with you, Fisher. You had to watch it with an open mind. But Elijah kept me laughing throughout. He was a great character, even in the Harder They Fall.
He smoked him a blunt the whole time, didn't he?
The whole time. No
Gotta
time.
stay ready.
Yeah. But that's part of the
All the time.
reimagining that I like, right? Some of the realness, right? Like we don't get the, and I'm not saying smoking was even a thing. I don't know, but you get my point though, right? Everything couldn't have been straight and narrow.
I'm sure.
All we know is Peter used to cuss, right? Well, Peter couldn't have been the only one doing some crazy stuff, right?
Right.
We know cussing Peter and Down Thomas, but somebody might have been smoking a little whatever they were smoking back in the day, or whatever the case may be.
I'm kind of like, watching this and the way it was directed. I mean, if we live in society today, we lived our lives as we go throughout, whether we're hanging out with the homies or whoever. I'm pretty sure it was like that in the Bible. It wasn't always straight and narrow, and everything was prim and proper. Everything was laid out,
right?
Before you of greatness. No, you were going to be shooting the shit too. I mean,
right.
and the Bible's not giving you every single thing that happened every single day.
Right.
Either.
There you go.
It is.
There you go.
Kind of situational things that happen, highlights of things that were most important, and you had people writing what they were seeing. So obviously, the people that were writing it didn't see everything. So
right.
I mean, it was all
film. And this film kind of gave you a different day in the life, basically.
Right.
Like one of the notes I put on there, I'm like, this is Andre 3000 weird. That's one of my notes.
That flute album.
Yeah.
Hey, support the flute album though.
Which isn't it critically acclaimed and getting.
I have it on vinyl. I hadn't opened it yet though.
I mean, like, ain't it went platinum from a
streaming standpoint? Probably.
There you go.
Yeah. He just did a concert, or he just did it was a jazz festival in Atlanta.
Which he's done other stuff under a different name.
What's funny, HRap? I mean,
I hate that.
Well, you know what, HRap? I probably do too, but I respect it though. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I listened to it one time all the way through, and I ain't listened to it since. But I respected it.
Yeah,
but I think
it's art, right? It's art, and from art is up for interpretation. So
so much so I had to get it on vinyl. So
and I hope
you like it. You like it?
Urge.
Oh yeah, I like it. I enjoyed it. Yeah,
I
bought it on vinyl. I hadn't opened it yet to play it on the record player, but I hadn't opened it yet.
And I hope this gives him the urge to do one last Outkast album. But
no, he ain't gonna do it.
Nah,
I don't know.
I'd be surprised. Unless I'm surprised nobody has used any of these flutes and like some hooks or something like that. We'll see.
We'll see some production. What's up, Wise? Stuck in My Mind podcast, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays at 4 Central on BS3 TV. Make sure to check that out. He also does a podcast with Cole, who was in the chat as well, called Mentality. They actually did the show today, but it'll air on BS3 TV on Thursday at 4. So make sure to check that out.
Love it.
I felt like the music, again, going back to the music, it was perfect when the disciples, which they called them apostles in this, but it was the disciples, when they were kind of walking through and they had that intro music, it's somebody's being introduced into the film. Jesus coming down, which they didn't really show him.
That was fantastic. The way they did that I didn't think they were going to ever show it based on how they first.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. And then I was like, who is it going to be, man? Because it can't be like Smokey or somebody, man. This dude has to be. He can't look homeless, man. All right, you had to pick somebody, all right. But they did a good job. Which
brings us to casting, and I thought casting was fantastic. Even down to Judas Iscariot, the reimagining of who that dude was from a black perspective. So just like The Harder They Fall, when that happened, that was the moment I said to myself, this is Harder They Fall good from a standpoint of proudness, of me being proud of the work, seriously.
All right, so Clarence is in, well, I don't know if it was Clarence and Elijah, or was it just Clarence that was in debt? Because Elijah was like, you need to go. He was like, no, we need to go. But he was in debt to Jebediah, who was the
Jebediah.
That's a name for you right there. He was like the neighborhood, what do they call him? The I guess the heavy hand in the neighborhood or somebody.
Yeah, kind of like the controller.
Yeah. The Jedediah the Terrible is what his name was.
Yeah.
And so he was in the film. Clarence owed him some money, and so he had to try to figure out, what am I going to do to get this money back? Because he ended up losing the race at the beginning, and that was kind of his introduction into it. I think that was great casting as well. And Jebediah's sister was the love interest of Clarence. So you can see they're kind of positioning things like, he owes this guy money. He's in love with the sister, and now it becomes like which side is he going to choose? And they're already kind of developing that storyline. I don't know if y'all got the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like he was already in debt to him, and I was like, oh, well, that's the reason why he's trying to impress the sister. But then it's like, well, my brother's gonna try to kill you.
Right.
Like, oh, great.
Well, I saw this situation to whereas this dude is the heavy, and the only reason Clarence is alive is because he was dealing with his sister. His sister is your sister is keeping me alive. He didn't think it's a situation where self-esteem plays a role in this. It was about pride, it was about faith, about self-esteem. Because if he'd had the proper self-esteem, he would have known that young lady was interested in him. He wouldn't have gone into debt. He also realized the reason I am alive because she does have some form of interest in me. And like you mentioned a second ago, Dawk, about this touching on the Black aspect. I think that's why they labeled this a comedy, because if you label it a comedy, you can actually tell the story of the Bible, much like you guys are not familiar with the Chicagoland area. Cook County is right. It's the next thing that borders Cook County going to the east is the state of Indiana. Most people, even here in Chicago, don't realize that East Chicago, Indiana, and Gary, Indiana used to be part of Illinois. The reason I'm bringing that up is Jerusalem and Israel and those places, what we call the Middle East, is a part of Africa. When it was colonized, it was converted back. You label this a comedy so you can let people know that these are the people who were in the Bible, and they were invaded back because they are artistic, because they have created their faith base. We allowed them into our land, and they took over our land. The Greeks, the Romans, they took over our land. They're really telling a true and authentic story of the Bible through the eyes of Black people, and that's why they inculcated comedy to reduce the racism and backlash that they would have gotten.
Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah, point. And to HRap's point, Israel is a part of Africa, but because it's so talked about as if it's something completely different, it's not. Look at the map, and it's clear as day.
Egypt.
Right. So Clarence, you could tell it in HRap. You said this. It's a self-esteem.
Hey Wilks, I didn't think I was gonna have to go to the third Egypt. I thought 2 would be enough.
Oh, it was.
Actually, you know what? It's been a while. Okay, so we were just not up to speed yet, ladies and gentlemen. Usually 2 Egypts would have been enough, and when we're really rocking, 1 Egypt would have been sufficient. But just based on how I would have enunciated it, would have gotten there.
Hey, Ben, to support your point, when they in 47, when they reestablished Israel, they were initially gonna put it in Kenya, and that's been too close.
Wow. Yeah. You're right about that.
Right.
And one thing that kind of just hit me right now, when Clarence was having a conversation with his mom, you didn't see a father, or he didn't talk about his father, which I think also has a relation to today's time. And his mom was really like speaking into them. And one of the quotes she said was, "Be the body, not the shadow. Hold space." I felt like that was a powerful quote that she said. Did y'all have any thoughts on that?
No, but just real quick note, there's another Hollywood Black elite as far as I'm concerned. She doesn't have a big name, but she's very important in Black film, and that's Marianne Jean-Baptiste. She, when you see her face, you'll recognize her. She doesn't have the name that Alfre Woodard, who played, Mary, but she's just as significant as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And I know that was a point you brought up, Wilks, is kind of the quotes from the mom, and then kind of fast forward. It was a big quote that she said. But give me your thoughts on this one.
I thought that was a big thing, because it's one of those, you're your shadow's there with you, but the body, you're made up of these things that are going to go out and create, or going to go out and leave a mark on society. Don't cast that long shadow that's just going to always be lonely and dragging around. You're just carrying that around with you. But the body is actually going to be something that somebody's going to remember in the works that you put forth. So it was definitely an important quote. She had a few throughout the movie, but I think that was a real powerful thing. I think it's like this body is your makeup, and kind of to Dawk's point, don't deny yourself. Be that person that you're familiar with and capable of, and other people, whether they don't get it or not, you're still doing your own thing. You're still putting things out into the universe. You're still putting things out into society. So I think it was big.
Yeah, she did a fantastic job of embodying the Black mama.
Yeah.
She really does. And the respect that we used to have. You remember HRap? The respect we used to have for Black mamas, man.
Oh man, yeah.
I mean,
we still got it, man.
Come on, man.
Okay, let me take it. I'm gonna frame this for you, Dawk, and I'm sure when I complete it, you'll be in lockstep.
Mm-hmm.
This is the perfect movie for you to say that with.
Mm-hmm.
This movie encapsulates the fact that no matter what is being propagandized in front of us, we must still go back to the root and the base. That was the whole thing. Be who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Dawk, come on, man. Name somebody in your family that don't respect their mom.
Oh, nobody.
Name somebody that you know that don't respect their mom.
Nobody I know.
We've been taught to believe that the loud minority, which sinners, people who are not in the walk, are in control. But we are actually in control, and the mamas hold it together. Father's Day was a wonderful day. All of us are fathers. We celebrated our fathers, we celebrated our grandfathers, and whoever else were mentors and we were mentees at that time, right? But at the end of the day, we know very few people who step outside of the line of God. We're speaking about God with this movie, but step out of the line of that structure of mama is the queen of the world. What's his name? Alisa D said, Mother's Day is the second most important holiday in the world. He said, it's Jesus and it's your mom.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Father's Day is around Arbor Day. It's after Arbor Day.
Yeah.
So he was like, man, he said, man, Halloween is more important than Father's.
Yep.
So the reason I even bring that up is because it is. We continue to buy into this propagandized media-driven narrative that we don't respect. But how is it that we got every time you turn around, you open up your news app or what have you, you see somebody posted on Facebook, 14-year-old child gets $200,000 gets 200 scholarship offers. That kid mother, I saw on America's Got Talent 2 weeks ago, it was a 3-year-old young man doing math problems that Simon Cowell and Howie Mandel was using their calculator, visibly using their calculator, and Howie was like, oh, we get to see him work. And the 2-year-old little boy looked back at Howie like, will you shut up? I'm counting. Mm-hmm. That's good parenting. That's your mother. That's a mother's love. So, dog, I hear, I lost my mom. I hear you speak about your mom. I see you post pictures of your mama all the time. Your sisters. The reason you love your sisters is because you love your mother. And you love yourself. How did you start loving yourself? Because your mother taught you to love yourself. Mm-hmm. It seems as if these reckless young men and women out here don't love their parents, and it's more of them than us. But now we got them outnumbered.
Yeah.
That's why I love this movie so much, because no matter how far you think, oh man, I'm getting away, like me. Again, use myself as a perfect example. 2007, my testimony starts January 2007. Ivan Jackson, he watching the show right now. Ivan Jackson was asking, me and him talk about biblical stuff. I told I want to hear that church mess. And look at me, I'm a deacon at my church right now. I kept walking away, walked my behind into a Bible study. 6 months later, I was taking care of my mother to the moment she died. No matter how far we stray away from God, you go down, you get on that wrong, you're on that path, the biggest path away from him. And I heard my mother, and I walked right into God.
Yeah, train up a child.
There's always a path.
Train up a child in the way they should go. They'll never depart to it. But here's the difference in what you just said. You're 100% right on what you said. We respect our mothers. The difference is, back when we was back younger, we not only respected our mamas, I respected your mama. I respected Ben's mama. I respected Wilks' mama. the same way I respected my mama. The difference is now it's not what I meant by her showing the power and the reverence and whatever we should have for black mamas. I mean, we should all have for black mamas, even the ones that's not ours. And that's not happening nowadays. Folks are not respecting other people's mama. There's certain things that they doing in front of other folks' mamas that they may not do in front of their own. You can see how they operating with other folks' mamas. And back when we came up, shoot, your mama was just as respected as mine, with my partners and homeboys, and even a stranger who I didn't know. If I saw her, that. Be quiet, boy. We would check each other. Boy, that's our boy, mama. That's our boy, mama. We wouldn't.
I remember that as a kid. Yeah, I remember that as a kid, just playing outside, and we get a little rowdy or whatever. Somebody's mama come to the door. We because that's somebody's mom right there. Damn sure if my mom show up. Yes, Miss Wilks. I'm getting to the house. But I understand what he's saying and what HRap is saying. It's one of those things where it's like that figurehead of just being a mother, that womanhood, and that other side of power, pretty much. It's like you respect that. It's like. It's the reverence of it all.
Our community is a matriarchal society. The strength of our community is a matriarchal society, and when we get back to reverencing them the way they should be, and their power is just different. It is a silent power. It ain't the kind of men have a different kind of a position power, right? But the influence of our community, you following me, Ben? Position versus influence. The influence of the community comes from the woman.
Always.
Yeah. Adam had the position, Eve had the influence. You either use that influence for good or you use it for evil. Are you going to use your influence in a normal way or in an abnormal way and call it abuse? Abnormal use is abuse.
Right.
So are you going to use your influence for good or for evil?
Message.
You got to talk the same thing I got to talk. Hell, I just regurgitated a little bit better.
Thank you, Letitia, for the comments. She said, yes, it is definitely a lack of respect for Black mothers in our communities. And it doesn't mean that it has to stay that way, because it's all what we're passing down is what it comes down to. And what and to HRap's point, as long as we're not believing the narrative that's being told about us and we're saying what the narrative is or actually acting out what we believe, then it'll change. Yeah. All right. So obviously he owes the money, trying to figure out how he's gonna pay the debt. The scene, the baptism scene, I would say has probably the funniest or one of the funniest scenes of this film. And you have to imagine, again, during this time, there's always people with wrong motives. So yeah, there was probably people like, hey, John, just go ahead and baptize me. I'm trying to do this to impress this girl over here. So I mean, like, this stuff was happening. But I felt like that was the funniest scene in the movie. So.
Yeah, that was not my first laugh out loud moment or my funniest. Mine was when they slapped the hell out of him, and even Elijah jumped. What I'm saying? That was my first. That was, matter of fact, that was both me and my wife's first laugh out loud moment. That slap. I think she jumped when they slapped. When the dude got slapped, he got slapped so hard. But and even some of the scenes, the way they set up the scene, the camera work and stuff like that. I mean, I was like, when I'm watching, I'm like, man, that's some impressive camera work, or what they did with the sound when he got slapped and had the helmet on his head and stuff like that. That whole thing, man, that's some impressive sound work that they're doing with that. I mean, they put you inside that helmet.
Right, exactly.
You follow me?
Yeah, his head was moving and you seen the camera was moving.
That's right, man.
It was quality.
That's impressive stuff. Yeah.
So the back and forth and the banter, and he's like, all right, I'll go ahead and baptize you. He just dunked his head down there,
and for a long.
And Elijah's like, all right, I think it's good now. I think Elijah's good now.
Yeah, they really made me that whole scene and banter and back and forth. You could have had in 2024. In other words, the way he's talking trash to him, you are still, he may have had a bit of an accent with it, but he was just telling him like y'all like even when he was holding his hand down, he was checking him at the same time. He was checking both of them like y'all some silly little kids. That was like the old man in the block checking some young dudes. You know, like y'all are stupid. You know, y'all are idiots. Y'all don't know what you're doing. You know, you're out here playing with it. You know, and at the same time, you're like, hey man, it's like he had him in the headlock. In real, you know what I'm saying? Like if the old dude had you in the headlock, you know, he had that old man strength. You know, maybe you was talking, I can whoop you, old man. I'm 19 and I'm you know, and he like, boy, you know, and he talking trash to your dude, ain't really paying attention to you, and he know you fighting for your life right here. You know, I got you in this old man strength that you don't know nothing about. You know. That's
that strength when you shake your hand and you got to go down to one knee.
Right. Or like Ving Rhames did in Baby Boy with Jeymes, where he let go and cry for your mama. Cry for your mama.
Oh man. Choco. Got it.
Baby Boy. And so at this point, Clarence didn't believe in Jesus, didn't believe in the Messiah. He was just, this is what I need to do to help position myself, you know, to be in a be good with the girl, but also how I could possibly be accepted and protected. He was looking for protection because Jebediah was coming for him sooner or later. I think it was 24 hours, right? Because it was like 29 days.
Hey, and if a joker named Jebediah coming out to me, hell, I'm looking for something too. Hell, Jebediah, I'm scared right off rip.
Yeah. Now the
HRap looks like his name should be Jebediah, don't it? Look at it. Imagine he was already tough in Chicago, beating everybody up. Imagine if instead of Brian, they said, "Here comes Jebediah, y'all." Ain't nobody gonna run from Brian. But if they saw Jebediah coming, they're like, "Jebediah."
And it didn't help none. I was 5'6", so
ain't nobody fighting Jebediah. That's not happening. What did you say?
Or Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Right. True.
It's because he go by Zeke. Yeah.
Right.
Let's see a running back, then he real soft. Oh.
Yeah. Trash. Right.
But look for the wrong button.
Football season out here. Yeah.
Not in practice.
I couldn't find it. But the Roman soldiers, which I felt like that again is another parallel to today. They're walking around and they're like, yeah, you fit the description of some people that robbed somebody or committed a crime. And they're like, well, let me see the drawing.
Yeah.
And it was like King Tut,
right?
Which was another joke that even though it was a serious moment and anybody black watching this could definitely relate to it, it had the comedy in it too. So HRap, you know, talk about that scene.
It was one of many double entendres, man. Like I was surprised that you guys never touched on Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas.
Oh, gotcha.
This was
Clarence
you are releasing me and my land, which is a double entendre for the fact that we were here before the Pilgrims and the original immigrants. That everybody talking about the border. That border was open before the one else now. So it was just that's why I really enjoyed this. It was a wonderful play on situations. Police just harassing black people in their land as if it was their own. And then you got people rising up saying, I'm sick of this. Right. And then it's just and one of the things that really, really, really impressed me about the entire thing was this. They didn't change many names. They kept the original name.
Right. Yeah.
This was a statement piece of art like no other. So
I agree, man.
I enjoyed it.
I agree. And on the harassment of the cops, he told him, he goes, you said we fit the description of a guy who's wanted for something. Which one of us?
Right.
We different. We look different. What you talking about? Which one of us fit the description? Right. And then when you check him on that, he's like, okay, you know, instead of responding to what he just said, he's like, okay, you're out of line.
Right. And that's at the moment basically because he said I could stab you with this knife or a sword or whatever he said to that point. And that's basically the moment when they pulled a gun out or when they had their hand on the gun when you say something smart. That was that moment compared to today.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I said this movie had so many different references to society as a whole, and not just from a spiritual aspect. I mean, there was a lot of what's in the headlines or what's happened in the past, what's still going on. So yeah, the movie definitely touched on a lot of different things.
Yeah. And so basically throughout the film, they were what did they call them? Peddlers. So they were selling substances. That was basically their way of making money, but he needed more money.
Like, wait.
Yeah. Bricks. Yeah. But so he had this idea, which I felt like I was trying to get what that light bulb was, or what was that kind of referencing to, but that was like his idea that he had, which was to become the 13th disciple. So that was one of his ideas that he ended up coming up with, and he ends up going in talking to the disciples. That's when Judas comes on. That's he talking to his brother. And he's like, yeah, so just let me know when Jesus come back so we can talk to him. And again, there was people that had the wrong motives. They like, look, I need this protection. So let me get in. I don't got to be a real disciple. I can just be a background disciple, just walk around with y'all.
And
like,
just think about the cockiness of, have you ever seen Judas Iscariot in that way? Have you ever viewed him in that way?
No.
But think about it for a second. Isn't it feasible though? Isn't it plausible that's how he would have been? You know, he's cocky and not, like he came in there, sitting at the front. I'm like, everybody else was kind of paying attention, but Judas coming there sitting in the front, like, I'm gonna be the determining factor of whether we letting you in or not the rest of y'all.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right. Don't worry about Jesus. You need
Peter
to
didn't say nothing until he blasphemed against him. He goes, "You blaspheme," whatever. But before then, they just sitting back chilling, and Judas coming in there like he the heavy.
Right.
Like, no, chump, you ain't coming in there unless I say you coming in there.
Right.
And the way they interpreted him saying, the guy who dips his bread in his gravy, and he's like, I don't even like your cooking. You got please. I'm not gonna dip. I don't want to dip my bread in his gravy. She used too much garlic in her stuff, whatever. But the way they made him dip the bread in, that interpretation of how that all went down, it's like he couldn't help it. He didn't want to. He knew. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I'm not the one that's gonna do that. But he couldn't help it. That's deep right there. That's deep for them to imagine that together, man. And it's like this is how I envision those kinds of things coming together, right? Whether it be the director or whether it be the LaKeith Stanfield being involved, and they're like, well, we can do this, and you know what, it'll be dope if we did this. That's how we get down. You follow what I'm saying? That's how this came together, right? Even in what we're doing, it was a little bit of HRap and a little bit of King Dawk and a little bit of Wilks and a little bit of Ben, and then a little bit more HRap, and then we take a little bit away, and then we, that's how it go down, and especially if you are like-minded, if you're like-souled and you mesh, right? There's some people call it twin flames or soul mates or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to put with it. When your creativity level gets with something, I'm telling you right now, with wifey, my creativity level is off the charts. And I used to have to smoke me one. which they did in this.
I used to have to smoke me one. And Letitia, you're right. The characters were relatable. You could see.
Right, fantastic.
You could definitely see
they were like us. They told it. They told the story as if it were us, like if it was a bunch of little black kids sitting around being told the story of the Bible. They told it in a way that we could it would relate to us. They put a pic instead of that, again, and the way they did the white Jesus and the thing too
that was greatness, right? There,
but they told the movie, they told the story in the way that it put the characters in. It's like it was their first Black Barbie. You know what I'm saying? This is the first black baby doll that we put out. I'm telling it to you in a way you can relate to it because the characters are like people Right. Think about how much, from a Christianity standpoint, how many more people would be Christians if they were like, well, shit, he was just like me. Me and Thomas. I know a doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
I know a dude who always be like, man, I don't know about that. And he one of the coolest dudes you'll ever meet. But he just got that thing about himself, right? That he always skeptical of everybody. And then you got this one dude that is cool as a fan. He's the nicest. He got the best heart of anybody, but the nigga gonna cuss. You know what I'm saying? He just cuss. He don't mean nothing by his cussing. You know what I'm saying? They told it in a way to where we can relate to it. It's like a dude we know.
Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah.
Huh? Right on, HRap. Right on.
Hey,
To this day.
Hey, side note, that boxer needs to sit down. If y'all seen that last fight that he had, it's over for him.
He needs to go and wrap it up.
I'm missing it. You tell it
to this day. To this day.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. He should have waited to that.
It's time.
Who is that anyway?
That's Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, because the old what's his name that done knocked him out 2 or 3 times or whatever.
Fury.
Yeah, Fury. But I'm gonna tell you, when his life changed, that really should be an inspiration for everybody. If you watch that first fight when Fury was knocked out and got up,
he counted 13 times.
If you just get up, what that will do to your enemy. Wilder has been no good from that point forward.
Yeah,
when he got up, that defeated Wilder right there. Just his getting up is what defeated him.
Right.
If you just get up,
right. And he's always looking for that knockout.
If you just get up,
right,
your enemy is done.
Right.
And I'll drink that shit.
Don't let your lady wear them booty shorts to the fight either.
Or letter.
What?
Or
they don't look good either.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So
go ahead. You know. That's something, man. I'm telling you, there's some depth in that.
Yeah. But you're right. He has not been the same. So at this point, man, coach, open up a gym, do something, man.
Yeah.
Design
costumes to come out for fighters to come out, because that's what you're good at. Hell, that's it. Your costume is scary, but you're not.
Right.
Not anymore.
Just
Rehire Mark Breland.
What is that?
Rehire Mark Breland.
Maybe.
Might need some help there.
Yeah. So the disciples end up laughing at him, and they're like, "Yeah, this, this not gonna work. You can't join
all at one time." I like
right,
that.
Right. And then Judas comes up with the idea.
This fool want to be an apostle, like
right. This your brother,
right?
Who brother is this? Yeah, I forgot, Thomas. This your brother, yeah. But Judas comes up with this idea. Well, if you free the slaves, then you could join us and you can be an apostle. Which I know is, and then he said, I know it's not gonna happen. So, it's your own death anyway. You could die from Jebediah, you can die from this. Either way, it don't matter. Which we already kind of talked about it. He ends up going to where these slaves are, and Barabbas comes onto the scene. Which Barabbas in the Bible, the Pontius Pilate had a choice. Who do y'all want me to set free, Barabbas or Jesus? They chose Barabbas. So this is a little bit of a spin on that story.
I like that reimagining, man.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I thought it was great.
And so he ends up fighting Barabbas, and he just quote unquote won. I mean, it was supposed to be like a fight to the death, but he had the knife on his neck, and that was kind of where it ended.
Yeah. And
then the kind of the head of the slaves basically said, okay, you can let Barabbas go. But I like that character because he was, I'm immortal and I'm going up against Rome no matter what, no matter who it is, no matter what it is. And then you fast forward and the dude was shot 3 different times with 3 different arrows, and he ends up running away.
Yeah. Come on, man. Yeah.
Wilks, let's just help Ben out. They're not arrows, man. Can you help him out, man?
I let him go, but they're spears.
They're not arrows.
Excuse me.
There was no bow. He was throwing them like Lamar Latrell was throwing his javelin in the Revenge of the Nerds. This is not arrows.
Spears. To me, my spears.
So what y'all think of the Barabbas character, HRap?
I love it. Oh, go ahead, HRap.
I think it was I think it was a beautiful situation, and it also shows that how they stole this from how they stole this and made it Greek mythology. Barabbas is Achilles. And they even let you know because
he said, "I am not mortal." You're right, man. Yeah.
This
and they hit him in his, and he hit him. Isn't that the part of where he hit him in his
Achilles?
Love it, man.
This is one of the blackest situations you're gonna see in cinema if you know your history and you know mythology and how they stole the mythology and claimed it as their own. Socrates was trained in Egypt. This shows you that Barabbas is really Achilles. These are the things that this was the beauty in this. And what's my man name? I can't think of the name. This dude who directed the movie,
Samuel.
Something Samuel, yeah. And he is from England, so he doesn't have the constraints of Americanized politics to stop him from doing this. He didn't have the constraints of a Spike Lee, of a Tyler Perry. He is coming from a whole different perspective where history sitting at his lap and being able to reach out and touch other parts of history. So that's why this is so beautiful. This is just like I said, blacker in the back of your neck, man. It was wonderful.
Big old bird lips. Yeah.
Man. Yeah, what's the snipes?
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else want to touch on Barabbas? Wilks?
I just want to touch on I want to touch on the casting of it. I think the casting is fantastic. You know, again, it's that word just keeps, that term just keeps resonating with me. It's a reimagining of the character, you know, of who he was. And again, think about it. If you just think of the word Barabbas, the name Barabbas, think of what we done been conditioned to think what Barabbas looked like and what he was like and stuff like that. And now you got something different. You know what I'm saying? You know, so that's what I was lost in, is in his loyalty to Clarence.
Right.
That's another thing. They didn't give Barabbas back in the day. Barabbas was a selfish character, the way it's been told up to this point.
Right.
He only cared about himself.
Right.
And in this reimagining, Barabbas was loyal to Clarence, and it's like he would have gave his life for Clarence. And Clarence a couple of times had to tell him, "No, man, run."
Yeah.
You know, and even when he didn't want to, Clarence was still having to tell him, like, give him that look. Because again, think about this. We've talked about this in several. Black people can communicate without talking.
Right. Exactly.
And if you're not hip to that, you're gonna miss some shit if you're around us.
Right. The eyes, the eyebrows.
We be on, you know, it's like when we debriefing 3 hours later when it ain't nobody but us. Think about what we did at my house. Y'all know we standing around the kitchen island at the end of the night and we debriefing on a whole bunch of shit that took place that day. And three motherfuckers like, what happened? I missed that. That means you don't know social cues. Black social cues are different than regular social cues. You know, we are communicating 24/7. If we are around each other, we are communicating even if we're not talking.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And he put his life on, Barabbas put his life on the line numerous times, because remember they got surrounded by Jebediah's cats, and then they got surrounded before that with all of the Roman soldiers. So I mean, he was willing to.
And then when they were on the horse and buggy, and they were asking for that. He was already ready. He was in the fray. He was ready to go.
Right. Wilks, you want to add anything else?
No, I thought it was. I think it's pretty much all been said, but I think it was a great twist on how they presented the character. I mean, even making him like he was some giant monster was gonna come out of the pit, but it was good. It was nice to see that, and then how he asked him where he learned how to fight, and he made that quote about you're trained to fight. I'm fighting for survival. Those are two different fighting styles.
Two different things. Right.
So, I mean, just that alone was, it's like, you're conditioned in this training, but my training is from just trying to make it from day to day, man. I'm just trying to keep my head on my shoulders.
How about the walking on water thing? How they replayed that, reimagined that in that scenario.
Yeah.
And the fact that he didn't even try to play like, I meant to do this. Which is what a lot of brothers would do. They figured it out.
Right.
Matter of fact, I told wifey, I'm like, shit, I'd be running. I'd be getting there quick before this shit run out. You know what I'm saying?
On the timer.
Yeah. Yeah, and even with go ahead.
No, I was like, yeah, that was super dope portion of the movie. And then an example of faith without even knowing that you have faith.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, right.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. And the fact that they did it to where he's sticking to like the Pontius Pilate sticks his hand in the water because he don't believe. Like, why the hell is he doing? It's got to be something under there. And then he send his soldiers in there, and all of them immediately sink. So all around him, everybody is sinking, but he's still up. You know,
right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Cinematography is what the white folks call it.
That's what it is.
And some of my best friends is white.
I got 3 white friends.
They really are. That's not a joke.
Man, I wish I had that clip, man. You better shut your watch.
I was at the James Taylor concert this weekend in Thackerville, Oklahoma. I was one of 8 Negroes in the whole building. Okay,
right. You said Thackerville?
Thackerville, Oklahoma, at Windstar Casino. That's
when you get drunk, they all look alike. Don't worry.
Wow.
Like they won't know you ate.
When you're sober, they're similar.
Nah, well, that's true. Maybe. Maybe.
Matter of fact, Wilks, who you to talk? Your best friend is white.
Oh yeah. He's downstairs, actually.
I know.
All right. So book 2, and his next idea was, I'm gonna be the new Messiah, and that's when Barabbas said, "Nigga, what?"
I don't talk down about
he went there when he said, "What? What?"
You're right.
Yeah,
change that to him real quick.
Yeah, real quick. And this, to me, this was pointing directly to people that go into being a pastor that has nothing to do with a spiritual standpoint, and they just want it to be a career and money. That is exactly what this was about. And he was successful at it, and he wasn't really saying anything. And that stuff goes on every single Sunday.
Yeah, man.
Right.
I'm gonna let you have that one. I know me and Wilks are in the basement where we normally are. But I'm gonna let you have that one. I'm controversial enough.
But it's true. It's true.
I wash my hands.
Pastor Dodd, my love offering is on the way, sir.
Letitia says everyone has a portion of faith, even if they don't know it until the situation happens.
That's good. Hey,
that's real.
That's good.
You never know what level of faith you have until you.
I had a self-professed agnostic that I used to work with. When we started the company at the same time. We went to lunch together while we were in training. Before we left to go to lunch, he goes, "Hey, I just need to let you know I'm an agnostic." And I'm like, "So?" And he goes, "Well, I can tell you're a believer. I'm just telling you and I never said anything, right?" He goes, "I just want to let you know I'm an agnostic. So that's not a problem. Man, let's go to lunch. We going to eat. We ain't talking about we ain't going to church right now." Well, fast forward a year and a half, he's calling me into a break room and saying, "Hey, do you mind praying for my mom? She's battling cancer." So that's to your point, Miss Porter. Everyone has a portion of faith. Even he didn't even know he was a believer.
Right.
But when he asked me, "Can you pray for me?" You just acknowledged my Jesus.
Right.
HRap, you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and with that, when you're looking at this, when you're talking about faith and things of that nature, this with the false apostles and things of that nature, that's the beauty in it. He became a false apostle, but he was actually telling the truth.
That's a good word.
Telling them how to worship the Lord.
That's a good word.
So while I'm telling this, I'm spinning this web with deception. I'm spinning it with the truth. So without even knowing it, I'm telling you about God and I'm telling the truth. I just haven't had affirmation of it. So that's the beauty. Even the crooked preacher, even the no disrespect, my man swallowed. Even though we don't have a lot of faith in Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, Joel Osteen, what's that lady name? I can't think of her name right now. White lady.
No, not Paula.
I want to call her Ann.
Joyce Meyer.
Joyce.
Boy, that smile is
She got the haircut like she date black dudes.
Right. We might not believe in what they're saying.
Sorry, there's the audience. Brother.
We don't believe them, but we believe the stories.
That's right. That's right. You're on to something.
Even when you're doing it for the wrong reason, you're getting the right message across. So again, man, that's why I enjoyed this so much, because I have lived. I have attempted to be the next Jesus, but I've lived this. Get out of my face with that God stuff. I mean, like I said, Ivan Jackson. I literally went to my very first adult Bible study with the mentality of I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna say it, I ain't gonna get nothing out of it. So you can stop asking me to come. And I've been going to church ever since.
Yeah,
July 14th, 2007.
Yeah, the messenger is flawed, but the message is divine.
Exactly.
The messenger is flawed, but the message is divine. I assure you.
Absolutely.
I promise you. You hitting it all over the head. Matter of fact, this is what Clarence was saying, and I'm gonna support it with the word with what he was saying. Right? He said, "Knowledge is better than faith."
Mm-hmm.
And folks was like, "What, man? Shut up!" You know, knowledge is better than faith. But think about it. That's biblically supported because it says you shall have what you say. If you act like you know it, that's better than faith. Oh, I know I'm gonna have X, Y. I know the Lord gonna bless me with a kid. I know the Lord gonna bless me to have a wife. I know the Lord gonna bless me with a career. Knowledge.
Yeah. And that also goes to study to show yourself approved. I mean, you have to, in order for you to know it, you have to study. It's not gonna just be downloaded into your brain. You gotta read. So he started making some money, and he ends up giving that to free all the slaves, which is, I think that was his moment of I could help myself, or I could free all these people that are in prison. So he did the right thing, even though it kind of it set himself up.
Well, before we go into anybody comment on that, I'm not going to comment on it. But what I am going to say is, for $5.99 a month, you can get access to our private chats. And I promise you, they are much better than the show. If your money right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get him out.
I'm gonna go up to this older comment. Hey, CJ, it's over, man. There ain't no practice tomorrow.
Oh no,
they cleaning out their lockers when they get back to Dallas. It's over.
They get that confetti out, man. They got the confetti now.
It's 178. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah, what's over?
I thought you said 178. I'm like, what? Are they not missing?
And they haven't scored. The Mavs haven't scored 100 at all in this entire series. I don't think they,
100,
or at least maybe once. I ain't get that. So back to the drawing board.
They made it further than they were supposed to. So still shout out.
They weren't supposed to be there.
But
I got a shout out to Boston. Boston Celtics have won championships with 4 different black coaches.
Wow.
Casey
Jones,
Doc Rivers,
and
this dude.
And this guy right here.
Wow.
And then what, the 19th and 19th title?
18.
18, yeah.
18.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, but they to make it this far, it definitely deserves applause, kid.
But this was valuable, though. This is a valuable, experience that they get.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
so maybe we can get Luka to stop looking back for a foul every time
Thank
he
you.
gets down the court.
Thank you.
Get off the floor.
Hey, remember back in the day where they were saying "shut up and dribble"? They misapplied it. This is where it needs to be applied. It was misapplied before. This is it.
Why you looking for a foul? They scoring on the other end. Will you get down the court?
Right. Exactly. All right. So a couple of other points. So Mary Magdalene ends up finding
Teyana Taylor, Mary Magdalene,
right? Teyana Taylor,
casting,
right? And this is in reference to John 8:7-11, where it was the woman that was going to be stoned, and Jesus said, "Well, whoever is free of sin, cast the first stone." Now, obviously, it wasn't married, but to the point, it was great because you guys aren't free of sin. So how you go stone her and y'all not perfect? So, and that was when she ended up following Jesus, which I feel like that was again.
This was the opposite of supporting black business. That's what.
So this is where this was an interesting concept, right? So Elijah became a believer before Clarence did.
Right. Yep.
So Elijah's going back to Clarence and saying, "Gee, this Jesus dude is real, man." Yeah. He's like, "Okay, man, come on, calm down, relax. I don't know what you think you saw, you know." And he's like, "No, I'm telling you." But the cinematography in that, man, think about all the times we done been told about the stoning.
Yeah.
And what they did, how they decided to illustrate that for us. Yeah. And he just with a hand stopped all the stones and then made them some bitches drop.
Yeah.
The Matrix.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I think a bigger point too is how many people seen what Jesus did and followed him that don't, their names not in the Bible. They were just in that group of thousands of people. Like I think that showed this that point as well. There were so many people that seen it that were just happened to be there and were like, all right, I gotta follow him. He's something about it. All right. So he ends up getting arrested. That was and Jebediah ended up standing up for him. But I didn't think that was gonna happen because he was more so like you owe me.
Y'all know who Jebediah is, right? He plays in BMF as the heavy over there. Black Mafia family, the series. Yeah, that's what Jebediah is.
Okay.
That was good casting there.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of the movie right here. The reason it's my favorite part of the movie, again, as you just stated, Dawk, if you are not black watching this, you're going, wow, Jebediah stepped up. But it was really him saying what Louis Farrakhan said 25 years ago. If we kill Malcolm, that's on us. We can kill him. Y'all can't.
Yeah, that's what's up.
And he stepped up and said, nah,
that's what's up.
Y'all not killing our boy.
I can't let you take it. Yeah.
Right.
I can't let you take him.
Yeah.
That bust his head. And which lets you know Jebediah had no intentions on actually killing him.
Right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I think he was just gonna end up scaring him, you know, to the point where he was like, all right, you can work for me or something.
Yeah. That's right. And hey, what does that say about the black community too? How many situations have we been in where the little sister got feelings for this dude, and as a result, the big brother got a soft spot for the dude because my sister cut for you.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be tough with you and I'm gonna threaten you and say you better not break her heart. But I got a soft spot for you because she got a soft spot for you. You know.
Right.
That kind of reminded me of the Wayans brother episode where the brother was acting all tough and she started calling him by his name. So he still went to bed. No, it was an accident. It was an accident.
Hey, it was a great show. Yeah. Great show. Didn't get a proper ending to that show again.
No, it didn't.
Great show.
But hey, the scene, man, where he's carrying the cross, another reimagining.
Yeah.
Right. And you want to talk about powerful, man. I'm telling you, you know, you're in a position where you are feeling every blow, man.
Oh, yeah.
And again, remember when I say black people is communicating even when we're not saying nothing. Think about all the unspoken communication in that, where he's looking at different people and giving them communication with eyes. It's like, no, don't do it, man. So, you know, save it. No, I got it. You know, and the fact that he's like, I'm gonna keep pushing. I gotta keep pushing this. I gotta keep pushing this because it's for a greater cause. And that scene, man, I don't know if that scene lasted 3 minutes, man, but it felt like it lasted 30 minutes, man.
Wow. Yeah.
It felt like it lasted forever, man.
Yeah. And that showed that there was people getting crucified in the hundreds every day.
Yeah, man.
So we know of Jesus and the two thieves, but there was people every day having to do this. So this showed Also,
It was a
the
genocide in a sense, to be perfectly honest with
right.
you.
Right.
The
And
random
again,
person that had to be crucified and had to carry his cross.
Say that again, Adrian.
And again, a play on current times. It's the police are killing somebody
That's what's
every day.
That's what's
And
up.
we want to rise up, but we don't. My favorite part of the whole movie was the scene when they tried to spare Clarence. They say, look, you snitch on Jesus.
Yep.
And we'll let you die. What did he do? He did something that a lot of people probably didn't pay attention to. He tried to snitch on Judas.
Right, but they already knew.
Already. And he was
Judas
like,
was already in the
He's like, come on, man. Judas working for us. Hey,
right, exactly.
Right.
I just gave him them coins, man.
Right. That's the part that I like the most in the whole movie because he said, you know what? I'm gonna put my faith in what he really said in essence is I'm gonna put my faith in God. You are not God. You do not control me.
Yeah. And I felt another funny moment. So you already mentioned it, but Benedict Cumberbatch played this guy in the beginning that was dirty. You couldn't tell who he was. I didn't know that was Benedict.
I thought he was gonna be a Roman soldier.
I didn't know who that was.
Me too, man.
Then he ends up getting clean. His hair is all that
he
photo
looking
of
himself
Jesus.
in the mirror and and the way people was looking at it. Yeah.
Right. It was like, whoa.
He's that buddy Jesus on the t-shirt.
Right. He's going like this.
This is where I thought about you, Wilks. When the money was coming out of his hand, remember the analogy I gave you in your driveway this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
And I was talking about the money. Oh, that came right back to mind.
Yeah,
it was like it's gonna be pouring out of your palm as long as you're giving it.
Right. That's why I said when you're making room to give and put something out there, it's one of those things where it's like you have to make the space to receive how can you can't hold it if you're going to be grudging and trying to give it.
Yeah. Notice that the coins weren't just automatically coming out when he was just walking down the street, but when he gave, they automatically came out.
Right.
It is the giving that triggers.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Oh man, it was awesome. That's why I said this movie had so many different underlining and direct on purpose things.
Levels as HRap was illustrating.
A lot of levels.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. And even though his role, you didn't know who he was to the end, he played that role well. That was another great casting. And he did what he had to do. And yes, Letitia Wilks, this is you right here. The mother's cry out to Clarence near the end was so emotional.
Look at her.
Yeah. They keep taking our babies.
Right.
Look at
keep
her.
Taking our babies. I'm telling you, man. That wrapped the whole movie up for me.
And here, find your way back to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Because like HRap said, you got to go back. You've got to go back. It's the center of everything, and of course you heard me say it before with the chef's table when the chefs are cooking and they run into a brick wall and they wonder why this plate didn't work out, this menu ain't working. I gotta go back home. I gotta go back to my grandma's kitchen. I gotta go back to my mom's kitchen. I gotta go back.
You talked about the rolling pins. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, man, trust me, that rolling pin was busy. That rolling pin was busy this weekend. Other rolling pins, but I was using that one that my grandmother had. So it goes back. Man.
She was with you, bro.
Yeah, man. The movie was great. I enjoyed it.
Hey, check this out. Here this is, Wilks, for you. That rolling pin is that jawbone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
hear me?
Yeah. I hear you.
Rolling pin is the jawbone.
Yeah.
Power in it.
Yeah. So he ends up getting crucified, and he's next to white Jesus on one side, and there's just a group of people there. And he's like, I'm not supposed to be up here. Like, nah, you're up here. And when Jesus came in and he rose him, that made me think of Lazarus, because obviously it wasn't Jesus, but Lazarus was one.
Hey, think about it. Even the way they rolled, the stone has always been rolled away.
Yeah.
The way that they busted in that Joker, is
right.
I just want to go back real quick to what Ben had just said, and I didn't think about this till he just mentioned it. But he was saying like you had Clarence there, and you had Cumberbatch's character, which the image of their white Jesus. It's like,
Right.
like you said, you're doing that every day, but here are your symbols in the Black community. We got to take your messiahs because we can't allow you to assemble and come against the construct that is the CIA and the government that are watching you, the FBI that are watching you. So we have to take Brother Malcolm. We have to take Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers. We have to take these images of, we've got to take these Black Panther Party, the images. We can't allow you to build and build. There was a comment that I think Jebediah said, or it was one. He's like, you just take stuff from us. We build up, we get prosperous, and you want to take it. And of course, I thought about Tulsa and Rosewood and things like that. It was like, man,
Greenwood.
Greenwood, it was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you can't follow Malcolm. We'll let you follow these rappers.
Yeah, we'll give
follow
him. Right.
Follow him. Look up to him.
Right.
It's like, man.
What's up, Butler? Man, co-host of Perspective on Thursdays.
Cullinan himself.
Right. Is it Wednesday yet? At 8:30 on Wednesday. So man, definitely check out the podcast there. All right.
Sorry for your loss, my man, too. You know, our deepest sympathy and empathy to you, man, and condolences, you know, to your loss, man. I know what she meant to you, man.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get to final thoughts and mic rating. It's been a minute, Dawk, so we do 1 to 5 mics.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
The Ravens moment.
Right. All right, so Wilks, we're gonna go to you first.
I have to give it a 5. I have to give it a 5. There's just a lot of things that I for me personally, that I was just picking up from, like I said, headlines and news articles and things that happened in the past. And like I said, just not even just a biblical sense. And it was pretty cool to see the reimagining of these stories in this time period, because it's like, we don't get that. We don't get those settings. You know, we get, there's a king in this kingdom and he was just ruthless, but it's like, okay, but this is in and out, day to day,
right?
You know, people going about their thing, and there's a place to go party and have a good time. So yeah, it was just good to see it, and just the references to me. So yeah, I have to give it a 5.
Yeah,
I have to give it a 5.
All right. You had a 5 before tonight.
That's good. In other words, when you walked into it, before you heard our take on it, where were you at? Were you at a 5 already, or did we convince you up to a 5?
I'm going to say this because I watched it I watched it twice, because my uncle is the one that actually had me watching this. Him and I watched it together. And when I watched it, I was like, oh man, I think Ben would check this out. I didn't know if anybody else would. And so, yeah, I felt like it was, after watching it again, I was definitely at a 5. I was at a 5.
All right, HRap.
Well, it was great. It was great reimagining, to use the term Dawk has been using most of the night. It is a great restructuring, reimagining of this. Gave you an alternative to see the world in accordance to what was going on. Like y'all said, this is not the view of the apostles. This is the view of the people looking at the apostles and the Savior. So I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it 5 mics across the board. I don't see one flaw in this, so I really enjoyed it. 5.
All right, Dawk.
Yeah, well, you know how I normally do. I'll give you some other ratings from some other sources. Rotten Tomatoes 67%, IMDb 5.7 out of 10, Common Sense Media 4 out of 5 stars. For me, I started at a 4.5. First of all, let me just say this: fiance, she's obviously your wife, and she's going to be a little hard on stuff. She gave it a 3.5. I'll correct that in a moment. Don't you worry about nothing. I'm gonna correct that in a moment when I leave out the studio. I started at a 4.5 before the show. After the show, I'm at a 5. Because some other points that y'all were able to bring out that I didn't. So yeah, I think it's a 5 all day long. And like I said earlier, it gave me the same type of pride that the Harder They Fall gave me.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And again, when you think about the cinematography, we're not just talking about, but I liked it. You know, it was we telling you why we liked it. Cinematography, sound, soundtrack, storytelling, reimagining of characters. This is complete. And I'm telling you right now, for it not to get any kind of buzz from Hollywood awards, whether it be Oscars or Golden Globes or whatever the case may be, is a slight all day long.
Yeah.
Between my uncle and seeing it pop up on Netflix, I wouldn't have known anything about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was promoted like Harder They Fall.
Yeah, of course.
No, it wasn't. So for me, like I said at the beginning, I really wasn't gonna watch it. And then when I watched it, I just sat down and watched it. I felt like it really did a good job portraying at, like HRap said, not from the disciples' viewpoint, but from a guy named Clarence's viewpoint, who really didn't believe, but believed at the end. So I started off as a 4. I'm gonna take it to a 4.5. I felt like it was
bastard.
I feel like they really did a great job with the casting.
So tell me where your HRap said it very eloquently. I couldn't find a flaw. So tell me why you don't get a 5 from you.
It was just some stuff I was like, a little borderline scenes for me. But I mean, I think it was. I can't put it at a 5, but I think it's 4.5.
Okay.
I like the 4.5 better though. Actually, I want us to have discourse.
Yeah. That's fine.
When you average it, it looked.
It's a 5.
Yeah.
And if I were doing the beauty of the week, I don't do no more.
Oh, bringing that back.
I done retired.
Way back.
But if I were doing one, it would not be Teyana Taylor.
Whoa, my brother. My brother.
The HRap is joining Elizabeth, but this is the big one. It would be Anna Diop. She's the one who played Varinia. She was the one that Clarence was.
Oh yeah,
that's the beauty of the week.
Interest.
If I were doing the beauty of the week,
Chocolate.
Not Teyana Taylor.
Hi, Teyana.
All right. So, and the Celtics are the champions. So,
of course they are.
No surprise
there. Of course.
All right. So, what's coming up on the end of the bench tomorrow? I know you got to get ready to run too.
Believe it or not, I wrote my end of the bench show out as we did the show. That's what I kept looking at my phone. I had already created the thumbnail, and I'm gonna talk about hate and what hate creates. We use the word hate far too loosely, and I'm gonna talk about hate and how it comes about, how self-hate plays a role, and how I'm gonna talk about the 3 steps that we need to take to eradicate some of this self-hate, and show you what we can do to eradicate this entire system if we want to. It doesn't have. I'm gonna talk about how we continue to think I need Wilks, Dawk, HRap, and Butler to do it. We really only need Dawk, Butler, and myself. The other people, y'all just much like this. Faith to draw the other people to us. Let's just say it's 6 of us. 3 of us come. It's always going to be that one Dalton Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the other 2 will come because they see 5 instead of 3. So I'm talking about that. Like y'all had me over here doing a history lesson. 1868. What is it? I wrote it down. 1618 to 1866. We had no political party. We were enslaved. 1866 to 1935, we were Republicans. What did they get us? Jim Crow segregation, redlining, and multiple dozens of lynchings. And then from 1936 until like 1996, we were exclusively Democrat. What did they get us? Benign neglect. So we see having a party does us no good. What we need to do is stop using terminology like We are not a monolith, because what you have told the people who oppose working class, seeing how I believe the world is just filled with tribes. I don't believe in the social construct of race. It's a bunch of tribes. Our tribe, we continue to say, we are not a monolith. What you've done is to identify for the people who oppose our tribe. They're not together, so let's get them. Don't arm someone with the arrow bend to shoot
My man.
the arrow to shoot through your heart. And I'll talk about it in detail tomorrow.
Yeah. All right, Queen 3 and King tomorrow.
Femininity, strength or weakness.
If you're gonna do,
Huh?
as long as you're a dude standing up straight, you're cool.
We're gonna talk about it. You know, society is giving us this, you know, a construct, to use a HRap terminology, as to what femininity is, and feminists are trying to take it and make it something. And you know, do we have it right? You know, does that play into what I just said about Black moms, and you know, or moms in general, and how we look at them as a community and what they need to be? And you know, do we just have femininity wrong? So we will determine tomorrow whether it's a strength or a weakness, and we will be joined by comedian John Yogi Lewis. So
it's gonna be good.
He will drop us the knowledge, but then he gonna say some stupid shit too. So you combine him with me. Best of luck to you.
So the end of the bench at 6 Central, Queen 3 and King at 7 on BS3 Network. And you can follow all and subscribe to all of those channels scrolling down at the bottom. So next week, I think I mentioned Joe Coy, but I think we could do a different one. Keith Robinson. I don't know if y'all have heard of him. He's a longtime comedian. He had a stroke. No, don't do that one.
Let's do the long cigar.
The long cigar.
What's the long cigar?
It's a movie about Huey P. Newton and how Henry Fonda.
That's on HBO. Or
I mean,
is that a series or a movie?
It's a series, but they're 30-minute clips. 30-minute episodes.
How many series is it? I mean, how many?
5. I think it's only 5.
5 at 30 minutes each. I think that's doable.
We could just do it. We could just do it. We could binge watch it a week.
Yeah.
And then just do one show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. That's
do
it. That's it.
The reason I said that, I watched that Craig Robinson last night.
Yeah, I didn't know it was gonna be. I don't know how good it was gonna be, but
it was,
I don't think I ever heard of this guy.
Before he had a stroke, he was funny.
Okay, let's get signed up. You gotta say that about
him having a stroke. He's handicapped. He had a stroke. That's the shtick of this special. He had a stroke.
Thing. Yeah.
What's that dude's name?
Craig Robinson. And he's standing there disabled.
Yeah.
It's not good.
88 must be another movie that he's telling us about.
Oh, well, either one. Just that Craig Robinson one they did.
Yeah, we can. I think it's called the big cigar. Is that it?
Big Cigars. I watched half of one episode.
What is it on?
Apple TV.
Okay.
I watched half of one episode.
And Ben, you want to tell the viewers how to get Apple TV if they don't have it?
Oh yeah, man. Just use an email. If you have John Lewis 1, just put John Lewis 11. And just put that in there, and bam, there you go for the whole week, man. Just watch what you want, but cancel it, or they will charge you.
If you got an iPhone, just go to your subscriptions and cancel.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We appreciate the support.
Hang on, let me ask Butler a question. Is 88 about Michael Irvin and C.D. Lamb and Drew Pearson?
Drew Pearson.
Hey, actually, we did that one already. That was the one with the politician.
With the Sprite man, 7-Up man.
Yeah,
It must have been when I was out then.
Yeah. We actually we did 88.
That was a dope movie. That was dope.
That was a good movie. All right, but the big cigar next week. Thank you for tuning in on Twitter and Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're tuning in. We appreciate the support. Make sure to like, subscribe, click that notification bell, and HRap, go ahead and close us out.
Y'all know it's the middle of the month. Got to get them loading up for my rent on the 1st. So if I owe you something, I ain't got it. And if you need it, get it from God. God. And don't swallow.
And here's a word from our sponsor as we end it.
It's all pure from Mother Nature. It's all natural. With sheer alternatives. It's all natural. You need a toothpaste that can fight cavities and gum disease.